Hey everybody, this is Michael. I'm a member of Northeast Georgia Mountain Beekeepers Association. And I'd like to start off by saying, hey, missed you guys. And with the new social distancing, doesn't mean we can't get together. We just have to get together electronically. So tonight, I'm going to go over making essential meads. Essential mead is just, we're going to make a mead tonight, and there's one thing we all have, being beekeepers, we all have some honey. And tonight I'm going to come up with a half-gallon recipe, 1 pound of honey. I know we all have at least 1 pound laying around. We're going to scrounge around the house. You might not have all the equipment you need. You might not have a 7-gallon bucket. You might not have a 2-gallon bucket. But I know you got a 2-liter bottle that used to have soda in it. You know, that's a half a gallon. And being in the mountains, I know a lot of you guys got gallon jugs. If you got relatives like mine, they drink a lot of the wine from the supermarkets. You got a 3/4 of a gallon glass jar. We're going to use what we have laying around our house, and we're going to make a half a gallon of mead. And we're going to use the soda bottle. Soda bottle, 64 ounces, 2 liters, half a gallon. And if you heard my talks before, we always talk about we're going to use sanitation. First thing, we're going to sanitize everything. And I always recommended the store sand. Well, we might not have the store sand now because we're not getting out. Amazon might not be shipping it. We can use other things. You can take a tablespoon of bleach and 5 gallons of water to sanitize everything that would touch your mead. I'm not a really big fan of the bleach, so I'm going to take my 2-liter bottle. I'm going to say run it under the hottest water you have in your house. So stick it under the faucet, rinse off the outside, rinse off the inside really good with the hottest water you have, and we're going to say that's ready to rock and roll. So we have our fermenter, and now we're going to need some water. So I'm going to use, I got a gallon of water I got from Walmart, but if you don't have any bottled water, whatever comes out of your tap will do. So we got a fermenter, we got our water, we got a pound of honey. Let's get going. We're going to start by filling up our bottle about halfway with the water. We're going to fill it up halfway. Just start it off room temperature water. And now we can either make a traditional mead, just honey, water, and yeast, or we can add some fruit now. So if you want to add fruit, I would suggest using like a half a pound of blueberries, a half a pound of strawberries. It's really, really good. If you want to put a little more, you can. Or you can do a 1/4 pound strawberries and a 1/4 pound of blueberries. Either way. Now's the time to do it. So you can either use just water and honey. If you want the fruit, put the fruit in now before you add the honey and before you add any more water. So we'll add roughly a half a pound to 3/4 of a pound of fruit. Blueberries or strawberries. You want to add them a little bit of each, that's fine. So I got my water about 1/3 to a halfway, and I'm going to add a pound of honey. Now, for every pound of honey we add to a gallon of water, it'll bring up the potential alcohol between 4 and 5%. So if we added 3 pounds of honey to a gallon of water, we'd have between 12 and 15% potential alcohol. Like I said, tonight we're only doing a half a gallon. If you want to ramp it up, it's roughly 3 pounds of honey to a gallon of water. So we Fill it up halfway, a third of the way, halfway with water. Put a pound of honey in. Oh, that honey's so good. I love it. I know this week, even with being confined to the house, I've been taking care of my bees. Been doing my inspections. I did 3 splits this week. Now I'm sitting here making some mead because I think really we could all use a drink. So now we got our water in there. We got a pound of honey. And we're going to need some yeast. So what yeast are we going to use? Well, if you have regular blind yeast laying around, that'd be great. I got the Lavin B A31E4BDE7E9C100, but hey, a lot of people don't have that. We just have the bread yeast in the house. So if you have bread yeast in the house, man, that's what we're going to use today. So an empty soda bottle, a pound of honey, a little bit of water coming out of the tap. And now we're going to take our bread yeast, and I'm going to stick it in the bottle too with everything else. So we take the yeast, pour it in there carefully, not to spill it. And if you saw my presentation at our meeting about a year ago, we talked about how everything has to be so sanitary before anything that touches the mead needs to be sterilized. And you know, if we're making show mead, really we do, this is something we're going to drink within a week to 10 days, 2 weeks tops. Anything that could possibly grow this yeast is going to kill it. We're not going to be aging it for months and months on end. This is something we're going to be drinking within the next 6 days to 14 days. So we're not really worried about any kind of contamination. So now we got our water, we got our honey, we got our yeast. We need something to feed that yeast to keep it going. And we go, what do we have? We're all beekeepers. We're going to put some pollen in. I put about a half to a teaspoon of pollen. And if you didn't put pollen traps on and you don't have any dried pollen, you can just go to your hive, pull out a frame, see some pollen in your hive, just go up to the frame, take a tablespoon out, boom, that's done. That's all you need. But if you don't have the pollen, what else can we use to feed this yeast? Well, you can use one or more than one of the methods I'm going to show you. And I'm going to use a couple of blueberries. So you take some blueberries. These were frozen blueberries I defrosted, and I just kind of squish them up a little bit. I'm going to stick a couple of them in there to give something for that yeast to eat. So you can use some blueberries. Well, if you added your fruit, your strawberries or your blueberries, you already have something for that yeast to feed on too. Well, if you don't have blueberries, you might have some raisins laying around the house. So, like I said, you can use one or more than one way to feed this. So, if you have raisins in the house, you can take 10 or 20 raisins. I like to take them, give them a little squish. Your hands are nice and clean. You just take them, squish them up, stick 10 or 20 raisins in there. Give that yeast something to eat. Because the honey alone doesn't have everything that yeast needs to survive. And we want that yeast to take that alcohol, to take that sugar in that honey. It's going to turn it into CO2, and it's going to turn it into alcohol. Well, say you don't have any raisins in the house. How about a lemon or a lime? You got a lemon or a lime? Take a piece of it, give a squeeze, squeeze some of that lemon juice or lime juice in there. That's another good additive to add. Say you don't have any of them. What else can we do? Well, if you have another packet of yeast, you take another packet of yeast, you put it in a small container, you boil some water, put the boiling water in with the yeast, and we're going to kill that yeast. So it's dead. And then we're going to take that dead yeast and we're going to, when it cools down, we're going to put it in with the other yeast. So now this yeast is dead, and the other yeast that's alive is going to eat it because they're cannibals. They're looking for whatever they can to get, and that yeast is going to give it some nutrition that it needs. So like I said, you can use one or all the methods here to feed the yeast. So now I got my honey, I got my water, I got my yeast nutrient. I'm gonna top it off, fill it up to the top, the rest of the way with the water, get it all the way almost up there. Leave a little bit of headspace there. And then you're going to take the top of your soda bottle. I didn't save mine. But take your top of your soda bottle, and we're going to sit here and we're going to shake it all up. Get that honey to mix with that water. Get that yeast all mixed up. Get the nutrients that we put in there. We're going to get it all mixed up. And take a couple minutes. Take your time. Shake it all up. Every once in a while, we're going to open up that top, get some more air in there, shake it up. Okay. We're satisfied it's all mixed up. You can go, you can put your airlock on top, but guess what? You might not have an airlock. And so we're gonna go, what are you gonna do? Well, if you don't have an airlock, no big deal. Just take the cap of your bottle, screw it on so it just about touches, and then we're going to back it off a little bit. So it's going to be on there, so when the yeast starts to convert the sugars into CO2, it can vent out. And it's going to be a nice rapid process. We're going to have a good layer of CO2 on here, and it's going to be able to exit. And because it's going to be constantly going, we're not going to have to really worry about anything getting inside of this. So we're kind of like breaking all the rules now. That's what I said. We're just, maybe we might not have everything we need, but we can still make something that's going to be a really good drinkable product. We're going to let that sit for like a week. So every day we're going to take a peek at it, make sure it's doing well, and once it starts slowing down in about 3 to 5 days, it might be a little cloudy. It'll be drinkable. You can drink it. It's cloudy. That's fine. After about a week, you can put it in the fridge. And basically that's it. It'll be ready. So we're going to have something that we can drink within about a week. So today is Tuesday. If we do this tomorrow, more than likely you're going to have something that you're going to be drinking this Sunday. And it doesn't take very long till this will turn into that. That's about 2 weeks old. So the first week, it's going to clear up a lot more than this. But it still might be a little cloudy, but it doesn't inhibit the flavor. The flavor's still going to be good. It's just going to be, a little cloudy. If you waited 2 weeks, you're going to have a product that's going to be nice and clear. And then after your week, if you have something and it's still a little too dry, when you pour it in your glass, and when I'm talking about dry, I mean absence of sweetness. It's not going to be sweet. If you like something to drink, it's going to be a lot sweeter. Just take a little bit of your honey and put it in with it, mix it all together, and make it as sweet as you would like. I like something that's dry, but what I like might not be what you would like. And that's all there is to it. If you have any problems and you'd like to contact me and say, hey, I need a little more help, you can contact me at Michael@letsmakemead.blog. That's Michael@letsmakemead.blog, or you can call me at 678-845-6556. That again is 678-845-6556. 3EF647EC. Leave a message. You can email me, you can call me, leave me a message, and I will get back to you. And together, we'll help you get through this. We'll make something good together. If you'd like to see more videos, let me know. Give me a call. Again, we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.